On Tuesday, New York City held the election that will essentially decide who its next mayor will be. Although Tuesday was just the primary, given how blue the city is, the Democratic nominee is all but certain to win the general election. However, we aren't expected to know the official winner until the week of July 12th. That's in part due to the city's newly assumed use of ranked choice voting for municipal elections. But it's mostly because the city of New York takes an extremely long time to count absentee ballots. In fact, they won't even begin to be released until July 6th. That said, some preliminary results have already been announced. Specifically, the first choice results of ballots cast in person either early or on Election Day. As of 2 p.m. Eastern Time on June 24th, with approximately 83% of ballots counted, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams had 32% of first choice votes. Attorney Maya Wiley had 22%. Former New York City Sanitation Commissioner Catherine Garcia had 20%, and businessman Andrew Yang had 12%. 9 other candidates received less than 6% of the vote each. Based on this initial vote tally, Eric Adams, a moderate former police officer who campaigned on a tough-on-crime platform, is in a strong position to win. There is, however, still a narrow path to victory for the progressive Wiley or the technocratic Garcia. Andrew Yang, meanwhile, despite leading in the polls for much of the primary cycle, has already conceded. Those paths to victory for Wiley and Garcia start with absentee ballots. According to the New York City Board of Elections, 86,920 absentee ballots have already been submitted in the Democratic primary, and up to 120,580 more could still be en route. And there are a couple reasons to believe that these ballots will help Wiley, and especially Garcia, make up ground. According to polls of the mayor's race, Wiley and Garcia are particularly strong with white and college-educated voters, precisely the type who tend to vote absentee. According to a Pew Research Center poll conducted shortly after the 2020 election, 64% of white Biden voters voted absentee, compared with only 56% of Hispanic Biden voters and 39% of Black Biden voters. In addition, 63% of Biden-voting college graduates voted absentee, versus only 54% of Biden voters without a college degree. Furthermore, if you look at the neighborhoods of New York City that used absentee voting most heavily in the 2020 primary, they also overlap quite a bit with the neighborhoods whose first choice for mayor was Garcia, most of Manhattan and downtown Brooklyn, and to a lesser extent Wiley, Greenpoint, Brooklyn, Astoria, and Queens. But that said, absentee ballots will probably only narrow, not erase Adams' lead. If we approximate that there are 100,000 absentee ballots left, and Garcia gets 40% of them while Adams gets 10%, Adams would still lead Garcia 29% to 22% overall. Wiley or Garcia would therefore need to rely on New York City's new system of ranked choice voting to secure a victory. That system works like this. Voters can rank up to 5 candidates in order of preference, from their first choice to their 5th. If no candidate receives a majority of first-choice votes, over 50%, then the candidate with the fewest first-choice votes is eliminated, and his or her votes are redistributed to the candidates ranked second on their ballots. This process repeats until one candidate exceeds that 50% threshold and is declared the Democratic nominee. Therefore, under ranked choice voting, the candidate who leads from the initial first-choice preferences isn't guaranteed to be the ultimate winner. For example, if every Garcia, Yang, and minor candidate voter ranked Wiley second, Wiley could hypothetically leapfrog Adams once their votes are redistributed. But in reality, a candidate's votes are very unlikely to move in such a way, and ranked choice voting doesn't often produce a different winner than regular plurality voting. The voting reform advocacy group Fair Vote has tracked 398 single-winner ranked choice voting races in the U.S. since 2004. And 383 were won by the candidate who was leading after the first round. And of the 15 come-from-behind winners, only 3 overcame first-round deficits larger than 6.2 percentage points. Wiley currently trails by 9.4. So that should explain why most people believe Adams' lead is insurmountable. Even if Wiley or Garcia are able to use absentee ballots to cut Adams' lead in half, around 5 points, historical precedent would still be strongly in Adams' favor. That said, we can't totally rule out a Wiley or especially a Garcia comeback. In the 2 most recent polls of the race, from Data for Progress and Citizen Data Fair Vote, Ranked choice voting pulled Garcia 12 and 6 points respectively closer to Adams in the final round than she had been in the first round. However, Wiley only got 2 points closer to Adams in the Citizen Data Fair Vote poll and actually fell 3 points further back in the Data for Progress poll, suggesting she wouldn't receive the anti-Adams vote as much as Garcia. So given how close Wiley and Garcia are in initial preferences, it's hard to predict which of the two Adams will face in the final round, although Garcia's likely strength with absentee ballots and her alliance with Yang might give her the edge. Keep a lookout for more New York City mayor election videos from EPO in the future. But that's all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please be sure to follow EP Official on all social media shown on screen and linked in the description down below. Also, make sure to comment your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, and please hit the like button if you liked the video as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out more content from the channel here, and as always, tune in next time. EP out.